What's up, everyone? Tom Hayden here. I'm here for the Week 3.5 recap show. Week 3, Part 2. We got Jax on board. Jax, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody?
And we got Matt here, too, the usual suspects. Matt, say what's up to everyone.
Hopefully everyone had a good Thanksgiving, and if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good Thursday anyway.
Exactly. I hope you had a good feast on Thursday if you didn't do Thanksgiving, if you're not American. Because I didn't realize how only Americans celebrated Thanksgiving until a couple of years ago because I'm very, dense to the world. But yeah, what else? What would they celebrate on Thanksgiving,
I think it's just a regular day.
Yeah, exactly. I think Canada's is some sort of feast, which is cool. Shout out Canada for that. But yeah, I think most other countries don't really have anything to celebrate because they didn't take land from the Indians like we did. Shout out Native Americans. I gotta go to more casinos. All right, so let me X out of this. I sent it in the Discord. I just got this ping on StreamCord. Tom is now streaming. And yeah, recap show part 2, Electric Boogaloo. So let's just filibuster for another 2 minutes because we still got 0 viewers. So let's let at least one person join maybe before we go live.
That's fine. Yeah. My one buddy suggests that because I think Germany they take a whole week off for like Christmas or something, like no one works or something crazy like that.
That's cool as fuck.
I'm down for something like that.
I'd take a whole week off for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm technically because I got a vacation, but if I don't have to use a vacation just to take a week off, I'll do it.
Time out. So you guys are both Americans born in America. Have you traveled anywhere else in the world?
Not yet. Well,
yeah,
actually,
I've been to a bunch of places.
Yeah, I lied. I've been to Grand Cayman and I've been to Cozumel, Mexico. That's about it.
So I've never left the country. Living somewhere else is such a foreign thought to me. It's like, I can't even imagine it, man. Because I've never been out of the country. The farthest I've been from New York is California. You know?
That's pretty far.
Mexico, Canada, the islands. Yeah.
See, the thing with me is, I've lived in New York. I've only been to Florida once. I've been to North Carolina twice. And I've lived here in Pittsburgh since, 2017. So I haven't been to really any other state but, maybe Ohio. I went there for, Cincinnati.
I've been to 10 states. I did a count the other, I was talking to someone, and they were like, so you really haven't traveled? I was like, I've been to California and Florida. I started listing it. I was like, oh, I drove through most of the states I've been to. Vermont, I spent time skiing and get upstate houses in Vermont sometimes in the summer. I went to Williamsburg, Virginia when I was a kid. That was fun as fuck. Shout out Williamsburg. You know the old school place where you dress up like a pilgrim?
Is that where it is?
Yeah. It's like the old time. They have the cobblestone roads with horse and buggies and stuff. That was a cool vacation as a kid. I still remember it.
You should go to Amish country over in, I'm forgetting the name now.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Shout out the Connell twins. So my two friends from growing up at the country club, the beach club I used to grow up at, we was a tight-knit group, man. And the twins moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania because their parents got a house with a pool. And they was like, yeah, we're pool people now. It's like, oh, shit, crazy. But I would see them once every year. So shout out the Connells. If you're from Lancaster, Pennsylvania and you know the Connell twins, tell them Tommy Salami said what's up. And they're going to be like, how the fuck do you know? They're going to get all excited. I love them. But, yeah, no, I want to check that out. What's up, Pops? I love that. Wait, so Jax, where was the favorite place you've been outside America?
Italy.
How long were you there and what part were you there, man? Tell us a little bit about it.
I was all over that country, and I used to go there for a week-ish. I think the last time I went was 3 weeks.
You were in Italy for 3 weeks?
Yeah, my dad's side of the family's all from Italy, so they all live over there.
Let's go! That's so cool. What part?
The northern part. well, my uncle lives in like down by Rome, and my aunt lives on the Adriatic coast.
Okay.
But most of my family is from the north, in a city called Modena.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, right next to Bologna, just at the bottom of the mountains there in North Country.
How did I know you were Northern Italian?
Virginia.
Yeah. Like, you could tell the difference between a Sicilian, like a Southern Italian American, and a Northern Italian American somehow. I don't know how, but I know it.
Oh yeah, the way they talk,
It's
the
cool.
way that their accents are, the way that they look, actually.
Yeah. So my grandpa's name is Calogero Cipolla, and he was in Italy, and he was at a restaurant. He was born in America, but his first language is Italian. His parents didn't know English to teach him English when they came over here to America. They owned a little shoe. His parents owned a deli. That's what it was. And then my grandma's parents owned a shoe. They were shoemakers in Brooklyn, but his family owned a deli. And what's it called? He didn't know a lick of English. So he's visiting Italy. The waiter who's waiting on him is named Calogero. The person in the table next to him is also named Calogero. And the waiter goes, "You can't fool me. I know exactly where you're from. I could tell by your accent." And my grandpa playfully asked where. And the guy goes, "You're from Sicily." And no, it was just, you could tell. I don't know how these people tell, you know? But like, I was like, I don't feel like Jax is the same rambunctious. I don't know. You know, you can kind of see the Italians, different parts of Italy. I wonder where Ramo's from. Who's Arceus? He's on my mind this week. He's another Paisan. I'm not sure if I have a feeling he's Sicilian or Southern Italy over Northern Italy. I don't know why I think that. And if I'm right, I'm going to laugh my ass off. But I could be wrong, and I can't wait to ask him.
So many Italians.
Yeah, shout out Italy. Italian Americans.
Yeah.
Matt,
Italians are all over the place.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not California.
Really? See, I'm a mutt. I'm Italian and Jamaican. So.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm Italian-Irish. And that's all Long Island, basically.
Yeah. Shout out to all my New York Italians. They're a different breed.
That's what I'm talking about. But what's it called? I go to California and I meet, like, I'm the only Italian dude I meet. I'm like, what the fuck? I guess it might have just been the circles I was rolling in, Asian and Mexican circles. But it was a lot of fun living in Santa Monica.
All the Italians came to the East Coast, not the West Coast. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ellis Island.
Yeah, that's where my family came through. But, all right, you guys ready to get in the show? Jax has a hard out at 7:30, so let's get right into it. Matt, you're reviewing both the games. Get into KJ versus Anti. I'm excited to hear about it.
So, KJ versus Anti. I didn't know what to expect. I hit up Anti first, and Anti kind of, gave me his notes and what he thought. He felt that he kind of misclicked.
I feel like that's a theme with Anti.
As far as
misclicking.
Exactly. It always comes down to a couple of misplays. Overall, Anti did say that KJ played fairly well. And, from what I understand, KJ is a really good battler. Let's kind of
kick my ass
throughout these 3 games. You see KJ lead Porygon 2 and Neoligo. I thought that was a really good lead, especially when Anti led Zapdos and Persian. But then I kind of forgot that that Persian had fake out. So I seen the fake out pressure. Ideally, from what it looked like to me, is KJ was looking to take out Zapdos. Porygon hit the Ice Beam, doing about half onto Zapdos. That was nice little tech. This P2 kind of felt more EV'd out to have some offensive pressure. Turn the Ice Wind come out Persian. So kind of solidifying speed control. You kind of had a feeling where this game was kind of going as more as Anti was looking to get speed control up. And then we see a substitute from Neoligo by KJ. I don't play VG as much, but I don't know. I mean, maybe Jack, you've seen it, or Tom, you've seen it. I've never seen substitute on Neoligo. Like, have you guys ever experienced something like that?
Substitute on Dracovish is something I've seen in Draft League. Substitute is just a good move in general. I think that a lot of Pokemon get access to that you don't think, because you don't think about Substitute as a competitive move a lot of the time. So seeing it be
Correct.
used in Draft League is a lot of fun, I think. I like it personally.
absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like this time, like in a non-Dynamax format, where substitute does come in, because it's going to tank some hits. You know, it kind of to a good way on the button. So that's kind of where it looked like for me. I thought that was a good tech. Okay. Turn 3, I see Stoutland get switched in for Anti. And then Feeney switches in for KJ for more kind of speed control with Icy Wind by Persian. Switching Anti, taking a Meteor Beam from Neoligo into Stoutland. Stoutland was pretty bulky in this matchup. Turn 5, I see her Brain Dance. And actually, Jack said something interesting that I didn't even realize, where he got a Brain Dance and Tapu Fini was kind of out there, so it kind of gave Tapu Fini the advantage with Brain Dance kind of being out. What KJ was able to do was get rid of the speed control early after turn 5, and then Neoligo substitute finally kind of fades. So from turn 2 to turn 5, Neoligo was just kind of chilling in substitute form. Turn 6, Neoligo Stafford had some strong moves as far as certain. I think it had like Fire Fang. Shout out to Stoutland. What Anti did with Stoutland was pretty cool.
Shout out Stoutland.
Yeah. Thunder Fang by Zapdos. But it was a really good switch in, because at that was kind of sitting there chilling, and then all of a sudden you see the switch in by Landa. So any electric moves that were getting hit in that Tapu Fini spot was negated. 7, we see Stoutland go down. Turn 8, we see an Earth Power does a lot to damage Coma. I thought that was pretty interesting of how much Earth Power does. But it was also a Sheer Force from Lando.
With the Life Orb?
What's that?
Sheer Force with the Life Orb does a surprising amount of damage sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes, and then Zapdos, all of a sudden, in the rain, we see something that I didn't think I was going to see. Zapdos comes out of nowhere with a Weather Ball.
Oh, that's a great strat. You love to see it.
Since you're in rain, it lands on the Lando and Oko's.
Get him out of here.
P2 gets the Oko on Zapdos. Turn 9, Anti is back in the corner, so it's time for game 2. So we see some good switches, good switching. For a second, it felt like Anti kind of had this game in the bag for a little bit, especially after seeing the Weather Ball by Zapdos, Oko, and that Lando. But just what KJ put on his P2 to kind of counteract a lot of Anti's team, especially that Zapdos. KJ was able to take the win, and now we're headed into game 2.
And Arceus is from Southern Italy. I fucking knew it.
So, going into game 2, KJ goes back to his game 1 lead, which is P2 in Neoligo. I mean, why not? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Uh-huh. This time, Anti leads Persian and Gastrodon. Turn 1, we see Fake Out by Persian, and Porygon automatically switches out for Finny. Finny switches in for the Porygon. Although, actually, Finny switches in for Neoligo. We see Fake Tears by Persian onto Porygon, so now it's -2 on special defense. We see an Earth Power on Finny by Gastro, and a Shadow Ball by P2 onto Gastro as well. So it feels like they're both. It feels like KJ wants to take out this Gastro. We haven't really seen Gastro do much at this moment, but clearly Gastro has Storm Drain on it. So it kind of gets rid of any type of water moves that Finny might be carrying. Turn 3. Now, I thought the the weather ball was pretty cool from Zapdos, but we actually see Tapu Fini carrying Grassy Knot, and it attacks the Gastrodon. So I feel like the Grassy Knot was just for a mon like Gastrodon, being that it's weak to grass. Turn 4, we see Gastro Protect. We see an Icy win from Persian to once again go ahead and get that speed control. Then we see the Zapdos switched in for Gastro. Persian then sets up Rain Dance again. Turn 6, we see a Fake Tears once again from Persian on the P2. And then obviously at this point, when you have Rain, you have 100% accuracy with Hurricane, and then being, -4 on your P2, I mean, there's not much you can do, and then Zapdos takes out the P2.
Fuck. And that. Wait, was that the it? Was that it?
No, there's still more. There's still more.
Oh, wow.
Finny opts for a Protect. Turn 7, Zapdos takes out Finny with a Hurricane. I thought this was pretty smart, because KJ still had Mons in the back, and if Zapdos would have went for an electric move into Finny's spot, it could have been switched out again for Lando. So opting for the Hurricane, you're getting the stab boost. You're putting pressure on whatever gets switched in, and Zapdos was actually able to take out the Finny anyway. Neoligo then goes for a Meteor Beam on Zapdos, taking it out. Turn 8, mind you, Persian is still out there. Persian was taken out pretty early on into the game 1. I felt like KJ respected Persian in game 1 and didn't respect it in game 2. So with Icy win by Persian onto Lando and Nihilego, Stoutland's carrying Ice Fang and put so much pressure on both Nihilego and Lando, and now we're going to a game 3.
Oh, I thought that was game 3. Okay.
No, it's just game 2.
What's up, Katie? I don't know what that means. I just seen it in a music video once. All right, let's get into game 3.
Yeah, so now we see game 3. We see KJ now lead P2 in Escavalier, and Anti leads Zapdos and Persian. The same lead that Anti had in game 1. Turn 1, we see Stoutland switch in, automatically getting the Intimidate to lower Escavalier's attack.
Okay.
Both Porygon and Escavalier get switched out for Finny and Neoligo. So a lot of switching out in the very beginning of this game. I thought that was interesting. Turn 2, again, Icy wind pressure by Persian. Another, it's just a common theme in these 3 games for Anti. He wants to get that speed pressure. Wants to get that speed control early. Finny goes for a Moonblast on Persian, understanding that Persian is the main support threat.
Mm-hmm.
This is when we finally see that Persian is carrying a Focus Sash, and in turn 3, Persian switches out for Zapdos. So Anti was able to get Persian out of there because he needed to put more pressure on going forward.
This is a Alola Persian, right?
What's that?
Alola Persian, right?
Correct.
That thing is so good.
Yeah, no, it is. And in turn 4, we see a Thunderbolt on Finny does about 70% damage. Follow up with a Thunder Fang by Stoutland, but it doesn't get the job done on Finny. Finny takes both a Thunderbolt and a Thunder Fang, and it doesn't KO it.
Holy moly!
Both Finny and Porygon doubles into the Zapdos, taking it out.
Boom.
Now turn 5, KJ again. He did very well with his switches. Preserving his Mons. We see turn 5, Finny gets switched out for Escavalier, and P2 now sets up Trick Room. Turn 5, Escavalier is being one of the slower Mon, goes for Iron Head after Persian gets switched in for Stoutland, taking it out. So no matter what, anything that was going to take an Iron Head by Escavalier getting that stab boost, I don't know if Stoutland would have been, I don't know if Stoutland would have went down, but it definitely would have took some damage. We see a Porygon actually freeze Gastro with Ice Beam. But at the same time, Gastro thaws out that same exact turn and is able to hit Scald.
Yep, Scald made sure it didn't freeze.
Yeah, Scald thaws you out of it.
Yeah, so the same turn that it was frozen, good thing Gastro went for a Scald because it kind of just erased that. So that was pretty cool to watch. Turn 6, it's just really down to just Stoutland and Gastro versus all 4 of KJ's mons.
Yeah.
So we see an X Scissor on Gastro followed up by an Ice Beam on Gastro. So right now, KJ's just as focused on taking out the Gastro. Stoutland comes with a Fire Thing on Escavalier, but it doesn't take it out. Escavalier kind of hangs on to it. Turn 7, obviously we're still in Trick Room. P2 goes for a Recover. Escavalier goes for a Protect. It's just kind of going back and forth on who's protecting and who's not. Turn 9, Trick Room finally ends. Finney goes for a Grass Knot on Gastro, taking it out. Stoutland with a Thunderfang on Finney, but Finney actually lives again. So Finney took 3 electric moves and is kind of just still standing there. So this Finney was pretty bulky at this point. You see an Ice Beam on Stoutland, but Stoutland is pretty bulky itself. Turn 10, Stoutland gets doubled on, but is able to just kind of take hits. Turn 11, once again, Stoutland now takes out Finney. And then what it really comes down to is Nihilego comes in, goes for a Meteor Beam, finishing the game, and KJ wins 2-1 over Anti. So you have to go back and kind of watch that game, in my opinion. There's a lot of good switches, just a lot of good bulky mons, because everyone was just kind of hanging on. What Anti was able to do with Stoutland was pretty cool. I didn't realize how bulky Stoutland is, but it was a lot of hits. So if you don't have a fighting move on your mon, good luck trying to get Stoutland down, especially how it is. You kind of see it for KJ taking 3 electric moves, one of them being a Thunderbolt by Zapdos, and then the other 2 being from Stoutland with a Thunderfang.
Yeah, I know Cardi Asada loves Stoutland. He has it in High Roller. And he's been my prep partner for High Roller. And he's been having a blast using that. I think he's brought it every week. So, I have it in our league. I haven't brought it once. So, I got to start using Stoutland the way people have been telling me how good it is. And
you got to be able to use it the right way.
And it was shown how to use the right way in this match.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. Look at sort of like the macro of it. And you can kind of see Anti was looking to speed control with the Persian and the Icy Winds, be able to get the speed advantage, make sure he had the speed advantage, and then be able to use the Rain Dance Weather Ball tactic and make sure that his Hurricanes were 100% positive. It was a good job by KJ, especially Game 3, recognizing what he was doing. I think Anti did it to perfection Game 2, and KJ realized what he was doing in Game 2. And then once Game 3 started, he immediately prioritized the Pokemon that he needed to stop it all. And that was big.
And he's in the chat right now, so he's going to post a replay in the server if anyone wants to see it. And he said that he doesn't have any commentary. And then his Feeny was max defense with the, I'm guessing, specs is choice specs to live. So that's a cool little set. Or is it max defense and special or I don't know what specs is if it's not choice specs. But yeah, no, that's fucking awesome, man. So that's how the Feeny was able to live that T-Bolt and the Thunderfang, right, Matt?
Yeah, no, I'm assuming
that's principal defense.
Yeah,
exactly, because if it's taken, and I'm pretty sure Anti was running his Zapdos at either modest or at least 252 on special attack. So for Finney, they kind of just take the Thunderbolt. I mean, it still did about 70% damage, but you would think after that, taking a Thunderfang by Stoutland, it was going to go down.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
Crazy.
And it was also carrying, I believe it was a Wiki Berry, so it restored, I think, like 33% health or something crazy like that. So, even though taking those hits, Finney was still able to activate the berry and still almost have HP getting switched out and still putting on pressure coming back in later on that game.
Because he was choice specs too. So it was max defense. Max. Yeah, that's awesome. A max defense Feeny with the choice specs. Boom, bap. Yo, that thing hits hard. Oh, yeah, it was Wiki. So he activated the Wiki Berry.
Yeah, Wiki Berry.
Holy moly. So yeah, if you post this in the server, I'm sure we got some dudes who will watch it if they got time. I loved hearing about it from Matt. I might, you know what? If I got time, I'll watch it. I watched every Spider-Man movie since I've been on quarantine, except Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's the last one. I watched all 3 Tobey Maguire, all 2 Andrew Garfield, the two Tom Holland with the Avengers mixed in and Captain America: Civil War. So maybe after Spider-Verse and after Monday Night Football, I'll watch that battle too, because we got some
Yeah, there
Pokemon
you go.
junkies. But all right, we got anything else on this one before we move on to the next one?
I'm good. I'm ready to move on to the next one if you guys are.
Jax versus Jolt. This was a good one. I watched it live, but again, I forgot a lot of what happened. I remember Jax won today. I was like, wait, where is the? It's not in the schedule. What happened again? Because it was so long ago. So Matt, take it away. Tell us about
Yeah, the
this.
master sheet wasn't updated.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
So Jax won 2-1.
someone's
It's a coming. The mods will get it after the holidays. They're probably busy.
So, you have to appreciate when people stream. And you definitely have to appreciate someone like Jax, who throughout the game is kind of commentating, so it makes my life a lot easier. So I can kind of understand his moves and kind of fill in the gap where it's like, okay, this is interesting, and kind of, get the mindset of where Jax is, so I can be in the driver's seat to see why Jolt was doing why Jolt was doing certain things. So this game overall was fun. It did go to 3 games, so without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and go to game 1. And I actually have a lot written down for game 1. Jax leads Ndidi and Mienshao. Jolt now leads Grimmsnarl and Dusclops. And automatically that screams Trick Room setup. I mean, you've seen it in VGC time and time again. It just makes sense when you lead something like Grimmsnarl and Dusclops. You're going to go ahead and get the Trick Room up because you're going to either go for Fake Out with Grimmsnarl or you're going to go ahead and get Screams up. Turn 1, you already hear Jack saying, this is what we count for. I wasn't really understanding what he meant by that, but then we see what he means because now Jax is able to double the Dusclops. He goes for the knockoff, knocking the Evilite off of it, and then we see an expanding force by Ndidi. Even though Grimmsnarl goes for a left screen with the knockoff and the expanding force, Dusclops goes down. There is no threat of Trick Room. Just the way that game kind of played, just the way the game started off, Jax knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he did it to perfection. And that really just comes down to throughout the week making sure his scouts are good. He preps for any type of scenario. Obviously, Grimmsnarl and Dusclops is a very common lead for Jolt to get Trick Room up. So, hats off to Jax just right away into that match. Turn 2, we see Mienshao go for a knockoff on a protected Rhyperior. We see an interesting choice for Grimmsnarl to go for a Spirit Break on Ndidi and the only reason why I can think about him going for the Spirit Break is just to lower the special attack. I'm sure he would have been able to take out the Mienshao. I felt like at that point Mienshao put a lot of pressure on Jolt's team. Turn 3, we see Roserade gets a switched in for Mienshao, putting pressure on Jolt's Rhyperior. Ndidi is just kind of pretty much spamming expanding force, and why not? Because we learned that Ndidi is choice specs. So despite being lower special attack, expanding force and psychic terrain is still going to do a lot of damage. We see another Spirit Break by Grimmsnarl onto Ndidi, and then we see Rhyperior show a crunch and taking out Ndidi. So now, Rhyperior is now carrying a dark move. I'm pretty sure Jax is keeping that in the back of his mind. Turn 4, we see Mienshao come back out. Rhyperior once again goes for a protect. Roserade hits a Sludge Bomb on Grimms. Even with Light Screen, it almost takes it out. Because it was Life Orb, Modest 252 on Roserade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Modest Life Orb 252. Calc the speed to outspeed most, if not all, of his team, and then threw the rest in bulk.
Okay. Yeah, because that just makes sense. Because the Light Scream is still up, but the fact that you were able to get so much damage, despite Light Scream being up, just kind of screams like, "Hey, I'm putting 252 in this Life Orb. Like Roserade is gonna get the job done."
I think it was 244, but for all intents and purposes, it was pretty much 252.
Yeah. So then, turn 4, like I said, you see that almost taking it out, but Grimmsnarl actually answers back with a Spirit Break on Mienshao, taking it out at this time. Turn 5, we see Gigalith. is Jax's fourth mod. Energy Ball by Rosereda, KOing Rhyperior. So that was a nice touch because now Jax understands that Rhyperior can't protect again unless somehow it gets that 50-50 split. We see a Spirit Break by Grims to drop the special attack on Roserade, but at this point it kind of feels like this game is out of hand. A heavy slam by Gigalith getting rid of Grims, and it's a 2v1 situation favoring Jax. Turn 6, we see a Klutzer come out for Jolt.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah, Roserade hits the energy ball. Klutzer actually hits a Ice Beam on Roserade, taking it out, and it's down to Gigalith to finish the job, and it does with a throat chop. Mm-hmm. And Jax takes game 1.
Yeah.
So as much as it felt like Jax was in the driver's seat,
it was a 1-on-1 at the end.
Yeah, that game 1. I mean, at the end, like it could have kind of went anyway. If Jax doesn't take out Klutzer with that throat chop, Klutzer might have just OHKO'd his Gigalith. I was actually going to ask you, Jax, like, how are you feeling at that point? Down to Roserade.
I knew I had to win there.
Okay.
As long as that energy ball was supposed to do 70%, and then throat chop was supposed to do almost 50. So.
Perfect. So you were like, I got it calced out. I know it's 100% win con if I'm in this situation.
That's specifically why I had that much in the special defense with the Lorb on the Roserade.
It's because you still needed the damage output. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Fuck right.
It would have been a lot closer before I found out that he was Life Orb, but as soon as he took the Life Orb damage, I was like, it's done.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the Klutzer came out with Life Orb, and then, you did say that. You said once you've seen the Life Orb and you see him go down from it, so he's already losing HP with the Life Orb, so it kind of just made your job a little bit easier. So now we see game 2.
Perfect.
We see the same lead by Jax, and why not? I mean, it worked for him the first time. We see Jolt go back to his trustworthy duo of Lily and Torkoal, but Jax understands the assignment. He gets rid of Sun with a switch in by Gigalith. We see a poison jab by Mienshao to Lily, also getting poisoned. So no matter what, even if it's Focus Sash, what we do see, Lilligant is focused. Has a Focus Sash, but after getting poisoned and in a sandstorm, Lily's not going to be able to live after this turn 1. So Lily actually is able to put Mienshao to sleep, but it really doesn't matter. And Jax kind of said it on screen because there was an eruption by Torkoal taking it out. So even though Lilligant was able to get the sleep power on Mienshao, it really doesn't mean anything because Torkoal takes it out anyway. I kind of have this written down here. This does not look like a good start for Jolt, starting out in game 2. But we'll kind of see how it ends. Ndidi comes back out for Jax. Grimmsnarl comes out for Jolt. Jax is now just trying to read protect, and Grims goes for a light screen. And then a Dazzling Gleam by a Choice Specs Ndidi doesn't do much since the light screen goes up. I thought that was interesting because I was expecting Choice Specs to do a little bit more damage with Dazzling Gleam, but then I forget Ndidi is not Fairy, so it's not going to take as much damage as an Expanding Force, and obviously Grimmsnarl ignores any Psychic type moves.
That's specifically why I went for that after that.
Yeah, exactly.
The Expanding Force was calced to take out the Dusclops, but if I didn't need it anymore, I was just going to do Dazzling Gleams because even with the light screen, it should have done 35 to 42%.
Yes, which we kind of did see because I think the next one you got a higher roll, and I'll kind of go from there. So then we see a Torkoal go for an Orf Power on a protected Gigalith. Turn 3, we see Jolt takes back his Torkoal, and now he switches in for Rhyperior. A Dazzling Gleam again doing the same amount of damage on Grim. But this time, like I said, I think it got a higher roll around this time because now it gets Grimm's down to red. I think it might have been on either 14 or anywhere between 14 and 20% left of health. We see her Spirit Break on Grimmsnarl onto Ndidi, dropping its special attack. stopping Panther by Gigalith onto Rhyperior, which is a good switch out by Jolt to preserve his Torkoal, and he's also able to get the weakness policy proc on Rhyperior. Turn 4, we see Jax wants to get one more hit with Indeedee, and he says it on stream. He says, I'm just going to go ahead and sacrifice my Indeedee. We now see Gigalith. So now he sacrifices Indeedee. Gigalith. Grimmsnarl goes for a reflect, and Indeedee now Dazzling Gleams takes out Grimmsnarl, but obviously a +2 crunch by Rhyperior is going to do so much damage, and now takes out Indeedee. So now turn 5, everything is going Jax's way at this point. It just feels like Jax is making great moves, kind of holding on for dear life, trying to make sure if there's anything that he could do at this point, he's going to try to do to kind of put the game into a game through. And it just feels like Jax is making all the right moves. Torkoal now comes out for Jolt. Roserade out for Jax. Now the sun goes back up. Now we see a protect by Roserade because with Jack, and I believe Jack said it on stream, where he was predicting a protect by Rhyperior. But, in this situation, Rhyperior goes for a high horsepower, so you kind of see Jolt just go hyper offensive at this point, where Jolt's like, just kind of go all out. And we do see that, because now Rhyperior lands a high horsepower on Gigalith. So now Jax is down the Roserade. It's a 2v1. Jolt takes game 2 after an interruption by Torkoal. And really what it came down to is Jax not being able, Jax predicting a protect that did not happen, and that's why we're going to a game 3.
You hate to see that.
Yeah, he ended up protecting, I think, the Torkoal and attacking with the Rhyperior, and I thought he was going to go the other way around. Because if I would have just attacked the Roserade, I'd have took out the Rhyperior, and then it would have been a 2v1 on the Torkoal. But that's a 50-50 read.
Exactly, and in this type of format, move one misread, like you can see how it kind of happens, and now you have game 3. But game 3, this is probably I think out of all 3 games, I like 3 the most, especially because Jax once again is so confident, and I love it. It's so confident in his lead that he goes for the same lead again in game 3. Despite losing game 2, he's like, you know what? It was one protect, but I was at the end of the game. Like if I'm in that same position, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. But Jolt leads Lilligant and Grimmsnarl, so it looks like Jolt has changed his lead all 3 games. Turn 1, we see Jax opt for a switching with Mienshao and Gigalith. We see an expanding force. Yeah, we see force, and after that, Lilligant actually misses a sleep powder, which is huge. I'm not sure on Indeedee at this point.
You're not sure what?
You've been breaking up. Yeah, you've been breaking up, man. I've been just like, all right, let's go with it. Let me just smile through it and say sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I hear you fine now, so let's go. Keep going. But I think sleep powder's only 75% accurate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he missed it, which I thought that was probably one of the hugest plays, if not the hugest play in the game, because at that point Lilligant's not able to do anything. It goes down to 1. It was sand up. Lilligant's not gonna live after turn 1, and after it misses a sleep powder, now Jolt is down 3-1 3-4, and Lilligant really doesn't do anything. I'm just trying to think, if he did hit the sleep powder, would that make this game a little bit different? But we'll never know. So Lily won't live another turn. Spirit break by Grimmsnarl into Mienshao spot. And I wrote this down like he should have did in game 1. I thought if Grimmsnarl would have went for the Mienshao in game 1, it would have been a little bit different. Turn 2, we see Grimms go for a reflect. An expanding force by a Choice Specs Indeedee does so much damage onto Rhyperior. I think it did about maybe half, if not a little bit more. We see a high horsepower by Rhyperior taking out Jax's Gigalith. Turn 3, we see a Roserade and Indeedee just kind of go to work. Even though Grimmsnarl was setting up screens, a Sludge Bomb as well as a Poison onto Grimm, and Expanding Force doing damage and taking Rhyperior out.
Get him out of here.
Grimmsnarl. What's that?
I said get him out of here.
Yeah, Grimmsnarl now goes down the Poison.
Get him out of here.
The last couple of turns really just comes down to Jolt, protecting, trying to preserve his Torkoal. But I mean, you're in a 3v1, and Jax is able to take game 3.
Yeah.
So, game 1 and game 2 was kind of drawn out. In game 3, Jax just said, this is my game plan, and we'll just kind of see how he stops it.
Exactly. All right. And Jax, what do you got to say about your match?
No, it was really well played by him. It was definitely a huge miss on the sleep.
Yeah.
In the third game, I thought he was going to try to sleep the Mind Shell again. That's why I switched the Rhyperior into that slot to try to protect the Rhyperior or the Mind Shell from the Spirit Break. And if he would have put the Gigalith to sleep, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
But I think he went for the Indeedee, so if he would have hit that, then that would have lengthened the game by at least 3 more turns.
Yeah.
Because then I would have had to play around being slept. But it was a really well played match. And unfortunately for Jolt, I think after he missed that sleep and I got the quick mon advantage in the beginning, I knew exactly what I had to do to try to get to my end game.
Yeah. And I think you played fantastic, man. This was a fun one to watch. I highly recommend checking it out. The name is Jax on Twitch. And do we got anything else on this one before we move on to the week 4 matches?
No.
Let's fucking go. Let's fly through these, Jax. Shout out Toys for Tots. If you got any old toys, donate them. That's how it works, right?
You gotta buy new toys.
So if you have any new toys that you want to buy, go buy them and give them to Tots for toys.
Donate Toys for Tots. Make sure no child goes up through a Christmas without at least getting a toy.
No, it's a great cause. Yeah, you know what? I gotta go do that. Maybe I'll donate some of the sealed Pokemon products I have downstairs. That should be fun.
Yep. If you eat chips, get Lay's potato chips. They are teamed also with Toys for Tots, and they use a percentage of all the money that they get from all Lay's products goes to purchasing brand new toys for the Toys for Tots Foundation, and gets kids toys as well.
And are there any easy toys that you would recommend buying? Anything that is an easy donation that we could buy and give that is like a home run?
You can literally get anything. I don't know of anything that a kid who usually doesn't get anything for Christmas would look bad at.
All right.
When they're looking for Christmas. I don't care if it's a board game, if it's if you get something that's for toddlers, it goes to a toddler that's in the Toys for Tots Foundation. If you get something that's I've gotten video games before for kids, and that would go to like a teenager or something like that. So whatever you donate, it gets brought to Toys for Tots. It gets regulated to whatever age group that it's supposed to be in. Like it says on the packaging, like 3 to 6 or whatever. They put it in that like group of toys, and then it gets sent out for those kids. So no matter what it is, it's gonna go to somebody and put a smile on their face.
So perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna go buy a bunch of Pokemon sealed cards, I guess, and give Pokemon cards to the Toys for Tots. I don't know where the local branch is, but I'm gonna go look it up. All right, so that's a great cause, and I encourage everyone to donate if you have if you can afford to. If you can't afford to, don't worry. Take care of your own. But yeah.
Or what you could do is just donate to your local Salvation Army. I know I kind of try to give back to the military and things like that. Salvation Army, you always see that Santa with the thing, with his little
the bell and the red bucket,
the red kettle.
Yeah, exactly. So do something. I mean, during the holidays, we're all fortunate to have loving families and make good money and be able to play games, but there's a lot of less fortunate people in the world, and we got to kind of take care of them because there's things that are not taking care of themselves. Yeah, and it also makes you feel good at the end of the day.
And we're all one big community. Yeah. So, all right, that was a very wholesome little segment we just did. I have so many sealed toys that are not open. I don't know if Toys or Tots is in Singapore, but donate if it is. Let's get into the first match. We got Anti versus KD. What a transition. All right, Anti versus KD. I'm picking KD for this one. Jax, I always start with you, so I'm going to go with Matt first on this one. Matt, who you got in this one?
So Anti, he's kind of been up and down. I feel like this season so far. KD, he's been more up than down. I think KD going into this game is 2-1, if I'm not mistaken.
I haven't updated these rosters since week 1. I'm just realizing. So let me look at the standings. So
yeah, I think KD is 2-1 if he's not undefeated.
KD is 1-2 and Anti 1-2.
So they are both 4-5 and 4-4 in matches respectively.
So that being said, someone has to win this game and someone has to get back to 500. I'm going with KD in this one.
Let's go. All right. And Jax, who you got in this one?
I'm going to make a sweep for KD. And I'm going to pick KD in this.
Done and done. All right.
And just because we chose KD does not mean Anti is ass.
No, we got to pick against 50% of you every week. So please don't get mad at me if I pick against you.
I haven't seen enough of Anti's play, really, other than the KD or the KJ game last week, to really make a solid decision on his team. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I thought Anti looked pretty solid. I thought
he always does.
At the end I thought those games could have kind of went either way. And like Anti said, KJ just kind of played better.
All right, so done and done. Let's get into the next one, which is Matt, your match, Weeble versus you. I'm picking you. And Jax, who you got in this one?
I've got sub as well.
Done and done. So I don't think this is going to be a fun one too. And I'm excited to watch it if it's streamed. So the next one we got is a Jolt versus Fox match. I'm going with Fox. And Matt, I'm going to kick it to you first. Who you got in this one? Want me to read you the records too?
So is Fox, I believe, is 2-1?
5-3. Yeah. And Jolt is
1-2.
With a 4-5.
Yeah, so Fox, last week or the week before, Fox and Behaney kind of battled it out. Very hard fought game. Obviously, I think Fox wants to kind of get past the game against Behaney and just kind of keep on going. And this is a very hard game for Joel. I'm going with Fox in this one. And
Jax, who you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Fox as well. If not for that rough miss on the not 100% accurate move, he might be 3-0.
Yeah.
And it would have been against a very, very strong competitor in Behaney. So, I mean, Jolt's got a rough schedule so far at the beginning of the season. And it doesn't get any easier, obviously, this week. Yeah, I'm going to go with Fox.
At all. It does not get any easier. The next one, we got Pops versus Bum. I'm going with Pops in this one. And 1-2 versus 0-3. So they could be tied after this, but two good coaches. I just think Pops is going to be able to get it out because Bum Trash hasn't won a single round yet. He's 0-6 in rounds right now. So until he proves me otherwise, I got to pick against him. And Jax, who you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pops too. I mean, unfortunately, the only game that we got to see from Smurf was the week 1 against Fox, and Fox had a really good game plan going into it.
Yeah,
and completely did work. Going directly to that game plan, and it worked flawlessly for him. So you kind of get I don't know about a misskewed view of Bum's team because you didn't get to see much of it, and then the other 2 weeks he didn't get to stream it.
Yeah.
So we don't know how it works or how he tries to use things and stuff. So it's really, really going to be hard to do that, to pick him. Plus, Pops got a taste for winning 2 weeks ago now. And I think he's going to try to ride that. He knows he has to win out to try to make playoffs. So I think he's going to try to hunker down and focus that and completely start to turn this season around.
You'll love to see it. All right. And Matt, who you got in this one?
I'm going to go with, so again, another thing it comes down to is if Pops is wearing his tank top, he's gonna win. If he doesn't wear his tank top, he's gonna lose.
So Pops in a tank top.
Yep, I got Pops in a tank top.
Bum if not. Okay. Next match we got Angelo versus Jade, which I think might be game of the week. I'm excited to see if this one, you can watch it at Angelo Hunter on Twitch. If this one's streamed, highly recommend going to check it out. And I hate picking against Jade, but I'm going to pick against Jade because Angelo kicked my ass in a 3-game set and played phenomenally. I love his team. And I think Jade's going to have a hard time, even though he does have the answers on his team. So I forget who I kicked it to first last time. Jax, who you got in this one?
I am going to go with Angelo on this. Jade's been kind of really underwhelming in this format this season. His one win was against Pengy, and he said in the general chat that that he got, for the second week in a row, hard para-haxed in that 2-1 victory. Once again, he's kind of a victim of he doesn't stream, so we don't really get to see much of his matches.
Yes.
And then the match that we did see when he played Yama, who, don't get me wrong, Yama is a great competitor, just doing really well this season. He kind of rickrolled him with a comfy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that leaves a bad view in a lot of people's, a lot of the way people see things. And then Alpaca ended up besting him last week. So I'm just going to have to go with, I think Angelo's going to kind of solidly win this. I think it's going to be close, but I don't know if Angelo's ever really completely worried by the end of this match.
And Matt, who you got?
So, yeah, kind of just piggybacking off of what Jack said. I thought the Alpaca win over Jade. Alpaca's a really good coach, but I was not expecting Jade to lose. So now, Jade is now 1-2, and his schedule doesn't get much easier.
Angelo's the only 3-0 team in that conference right now.
Exactly. And as of right now, I haven't seen anyone come up with a game plan to really stop Angelo. He played Pops in week 1. He played me in week 2, and then he played you in week 3. And he kind of just ran through us.
I put up a good fight.
Yeah, he put up a good fight. Mold Breaker Excadrill kind of just slipped Angelo's mind. But
it's not going to work on Arceus. I'm playing another Mimikyu this week.
Yeah. But I will say this: if anyone's going to be able to crack the code on Angelo's team,
it's Jade.
It's going to be Jade. I am going with Angelo on this, but I feel like if Jade is prepared for this game, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people thought.
So through 5 matches, we have the identical picks, all 3 of us. All 3 of us have identical picks in every match of the first 5. If Pops wears a tank top. Nutty. All right. Next one, Pengy Yama. I got Yama. And Matt, I'm going to kick it to you. Who you got in this one?
So Yama lost his first game to Andrew 2 weeks ago. And, Andrew played really well. Yama played well too. I think Yama made a couple of mistakes, but Andrew already had the solid game plan. Him and Jax kind of prepped for that game. I'm not sure how to kind of read Pengy. I know he's a good competitor. I know he kind of was sold. He's trying to sell us on this Dracovish about it kind of going to work. Pengy did get his first win of the season, but he didn't bring Dracovish with him. So in this matchup, I feel like I'm going with Pengy on this one in this game. I think Yama is a good competitor. I just think maybe after these last 2 weeks of Pengy kind of just going through his team, I know he didn't make many moves. Maybe Pengy already started prepping last week. So I'm going to go with Pengy on this one. But again, I think this is going to be a close game. And it's kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Pengy on this one.
And Jax, who you got in this?
Yeah, I think this could be the second best game of the week, honestly. I mean, I think both of the Pengy, I know from doing work in like the high roller league and stuff like that. He's a solid competitor, and Yama's been on a tear. Me and Andrew, we prepped for a solid amount of time prepping for their match to get Andrew on a on a avenue to
That's
try to
awesome.
solidly beat him. But I'm gonna go with Yama on this just because I think Yama's played really, really well all 3 weeks, even in the loss against Andrew. I think he played really, really well. And even though Pengy's been a little unfortunate in a couple of his losses, I think it's going to be a really close game. But I'm going to give the edge to Yama just on the fact that the merit that he's been playing really, really solid the first 3 weeks.
And they play in High Roller the week after, so that's hysterical and awesome. So I can't wait to watch both of these matches. You can watch them at Yamagu. But all right, fuck yeah. On to the next one. We got Jax versus Andrew. Jax, your prep partner. I'm going with you in this one. And Matt, who you got in this one?
I mean, it's kind of crazy how this works out. Just because Andrew and Jax kind of prepped with each other, and now they're going against each other. So I don't know if Jax gave Andrew any cool ideas or cool texts. So maybe Jax may be a little bit, his awareness may be a little bit heightened. Andrew at the same time, I think Andrew is prepping with somebody at this point. I don't know who, but it could be a cool tech as well. I'm going to go with Jackson in this situation, but the way Andrew played against Yama, I think he carries that momentum going forward.
Oh, he's so good in this game, too. All right. And Jax, I know you don't pick your game, so let's get into the next one, which is my game, and I'm going with me versus Arceus. And Jax, who you got in this one?
I am also going to go with you against Arceus.
Hey. Thank you, my friend.
No, go ahead.
Matt, who you got in this one?
So, I haven't heard much from Arceus so far this season. I know he's kind of been busy. We did have the last 2 weeks off. Not the last 2 weeks, but we had last week off.
I was just
So
talking to
maybe
Arceus during the show, asking him what part of Italy he's from. Southern.
Yes. So maybe Arceus started planning a little bit last week and kind of just finishing up and tidying up things this week. But this is this could be a COVID game, like the flu game for you, Tom. You could come out like Michael Jordan and just kind of hang, whatever Michael Jordan hang up in the finals. But we'll see. I will go with you, but I think this is going to be a lot closer. Just because Arceus is a good battler, despite his record right now.
He's very good. Yeah. So what's it called? I'm excited for this one. I play him 1 o'clock Thursday, and I also play High Roller match versus YouTube Oz at 6 p.m. on Thursday. So busy day of battles for me on Thursday. You can watch them at this channel here. Next match we got Wheeze versus Tootie. I'm going with Wheeze in this one. And Matt, who you got in this one?
You're going with Wheeze. I'm going with Tootie in this one.
All right. So first disparity, other than Pengy was the first disparity, but other than that, we've had completely the same picks, other than you, Matt. And Jax, who you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with Tootie in this one. Just looking at the past performances, Tootie's had a really, really tough first 3 weeks. Played me and then immediately had to turn around and play Turtle, which I think Turtle's probably the best, definitely, if not one of the best in our conference. And then in week 3, he had to come back and play Weebles, which is, I don't think, any small feat. I think Weeble plays really, really well as well, and he was able to pull out the victory there. And he's another guy just like Pops who picked up a win in week 3, knows he has to, because he lost the first 2 weeks, knows he has to go on a tear and probably win out the last 3 weeks to be able to get solid positioning for the playoffs and stuff like that. So this is sort of as odd as it is, and it's only week 4. It's already starting to be must-win weeks for some people.
Well, because it's only 6-week season, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Tootie is definitely a solid enough player that he can pull out a close one. I think this one is going to go 3 games because Weeze can adjust really well.
Yeah, Weeze is good, man. Tootie's good too, but Weeze is good.
Yeah, both of them are pretty good, and Weeze I think has made a 3-game set each week. Yeah, he's made a 3-game set each week, so I think that trend continues. But I think Tootie's just got a little bit too much, and he's going to pull out the win.
And let's get into the next match. Oh wait, what's up? What's up, Matt?
No, yeah, and I totally forgot. Like, remember, like that Turtle and Judy game was arguably like game of the week.
So yeah, that was close. All right, but let's get into the next one, which is Jam versus Snub, which is going to happen in like 40 minutes. You can watch it at Jam JGM. Click his name in the chat right now. He's the most recent chat. Click his name. Go shoot him a follow if you don't, and you can watch this game there. And Jam, I'm picking you in this one. So, Jax, who you got in this one?
I am also gonna go with Jam in this one. I think he's got a pretty solid game plan this week. Ed Snob's another guy who, another competitor in this that has, I don't know if you could say lost his way a little bit in this format, but he's definitely not performing as well as he has been in seasons past with the Dynamax format. So I think if he ends up struggling anymore like he did the first few weeks, it's going to be detrimental to him, and James going to pull out the victory. But at the same time, he's another person that picked up a win week 3, and he needs those wins to be able to make playoffs. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a close one, but I'm going with Jam on this one.
And Matt, who you got in this one?
So last week the week before I played Jam. Even though we only played 2 games, those 2 games were very tough. I think Jam played very well. I think it was more that Jam didn't. He prepped, but he probably didn't prep the way he wanted to. Because I kind of seen a similarity in the team that he brought against B. Haney versus the team that he brought against me. But I know this week he worked with Jax. I know he reached out and he was looking for prep partners. And I don't want to say, he's taking this league a little bit more seriously now, but maybe he's taking a different approach that he did in the first 3 weeks. And I expect big things from Jam, especially after that game between me and him. I haven't looked at Jam's schedule, but he can easily go 3-0 down the stretch.
High words. All right, and Matt, you don't pick Behaney's games, right?
I will not pick Behaney's games.
So I got Behaney in this one, and Jax, who do you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Behaney too.
So yeah, we have all very similar picks this week.
Yeah, I feel like this week's picks are
chalk.
Yeah. There's a decisive favorite in almost everyone,
except this next one.
I will say this with Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond being out, there's a lot of time being taken away from some of these competitors. Playing that game, and obviously, it's still a league. You still have to prep, and if you're not putting in enough time in the prep, we could see some upsets where it's like, maybe because of that distraction or whatnot, we could see some upsets. So just kind of putting it out there.
I hope we see some upsets. I hope we see some perceived upsets at least. This match, this is a coin toss to me. I don't know who's going to win this one. I'm going KJ. And Matt, I'm going to kick it to you first on this one. Who you got in this one?
So what's the matchup? It's KJ versus who?
Turtle.
Oh man,
easy game.
Yeah.
And I'm honored to cover this game because I'm sure one of these guys are going to be able to stream it. I'll make sure not to write a whole novel because I do think this is going to go to a game 3. I do think there's going to be certain times throughout all 3 games where either Turtle does something nuts, but it makes sense, or KJ is able to do, is able to make a couple of pivots throughout the game. I'm going to go with Turtle to keep this win streak going, but yeah, like you said, like it is a toss-up. Like KJ could come out and end Turtle's undefeated season.
And Jax, who you got in this one?
I am going to go with KJ in this one. I have certain reasons for it that I'm not going to divulge, but I think that KJ can obviously both of these competitors can pull out the win against each other. But I think I see something with KJ that I think that he's going to pull it out, and I'd like to see him pull it out.
Yeah. So we got a good week of matches, guys. I'm excited to watch them all. I hope you guys are too. Good luck to all our competitors. Follow at CPDL12 on Twitter. Donate, buy new Toys for Tots if you can. And Jax, we got you out of here 13 minutes early. Jax, you
Yeah.
got anything else to say before we get out of here?
Not to have a great week, guys. Good luck to everybody that's playing. Play your best Pokemon, and donate to Toys for Tots because it's a good cause.
Absolutely. And Matt, you got anything else to say?
Uh, just two things. There's only 3 games left. Like, it's crazy because I felt like last season went a little bit longer.
A lot. Yeah, those
But
extra 2 weeks.
with only 6 games, like literally every single game counts, and it feels like at this point, 4-2 is a good way to kind of secure your playoff spot. 3-3
Crapshoot.
may be a little bit iffy depending on the competition that you played. But if you want to make it to the playoffs, like this is the time to win. If you can go 2-1 or 3-0 down the stretch, you should be comfortable. I think anything less than 2-1 is going to put you in a tough spot. And then also keep in mind, like if you do make the playoffs, you do have 2 weeks to kind of prep for your match. I do know Christmas is right around the corner, but if you spend like maybe 30 minutes to an hour each day, getting ready for your playoff match, like I'm expecting the playoffs to be a little nutty, just for how much time that we have before the games actually start being played.
And yeah, see, that's a different train of thought than me. I haven't even thought about playoffs. I'm just trying to get a ticket to the show. I'm standing on the docks of the Titanic, like, can I? You know what? Maybe I can make it if I win. But all right, so this was a blast. Thank you everyone for coming out to watch. Yeah, just around an hour, so I'm gonna end the stream here, and I'll see you guys next time.